Alright, welcome back to our Next Fest demo reel part 2. We have 3 more games to cover to see what gems are being forged within. Now again, before we start, I want to remind everyone that these games are demos and subject to change massively before release. I will try to give a short general description of the game with things I liked and didn't like, followed up with anything I would like to see the game improve on. So let us see what these demos have to offer. Starting off, we are playing a game that my girlfriend thought was so cute she had to watch me play Bears and Breakfast, where you abandon your friends to join the communist regime to bring it back to its full glory. Simulator. By that I mean you play as a bear who meets a grandma in the forest to bring back life to an abandoned resort that has fell to ruin after the old dictatorship fell, where we build rooms of different types, attract the masses to return to the beauty of the forest. And I'll tell you what, I was not expecting a full-on story about the resort, or the fact these other animals are wearing clothes while running a business, that my friends are willing to stand there for days on end to wait for me to quote-unquote check out this resort. Seriously, we get a storybook entrance with these characters, and when the game proper begins, they are stuck here forever! These poor unfortunate souls. The gameplay is mostly about walking around the abandoned resort to pick up trash and scavenge supplies from old furniture to rebuild the resort, where you're slowly given recipes to introduce how the building mechanics work and how to handle customers, where each room gives points to a certain category such as decorations or food, and the customers have needs that reference these points that will dictate their review of the place. So bring out your interior decorator self and make some fab rooms. Look, I even put a table in this one. Isn't it adorbs? Also, you have to make food for your guests, which is funny because you can't just feed them a strawberry. You have to put it in a bowl for them to be happy. I really like the art style and the nonsense that this game brings with its stories such as Grandma thinking using a bear to help restore this place is a logical way to go. Also, one weird fact, the world seems to be only filled with fat, middle-aged men. Or they're the only ones willing to come to a resort ran by a bear and probably a murderer grandma. After all, she felt other people were a common and unfortunate affliction. I'd imagine when this game's release, we will have more ways to expand and even work with the surrounding forest more. Maybe understand this crazy world a little more as well. Also to find that spoopy fox thing in the trailer. As it stands, it's just a simple bear B&B tycoon. I think my major complaint were 2 things. The menus were really buggy and caused some awkward situations like removing a door and being unable to put it back. Also, I need a way to move faster. Some kind of run button would be nice. Overall, I thought it was alright. Definitely cute. I think I found out how Grandma got rid of the affliction. After all, this basement is the cleanest place in the whole game, and I have a feeling my friends are next. I don't want to make the soil fertile, so I'm gonna move on now. Oh crap. Now I'm in a world where everyone has no legs! Pass and danger, this is false advertising. I mean, look at this, they have legs, why do I have no legs? 0 out of 10. God, this is so freaking stupid. Okay, all jokes aside, Pass and Danger is a roguelike turn-based strategy where you select a fantasy mercenaries to create a party to go on quests. Very much like Darkest Dungeon, however with a lot less dread and cruelty. Unless you start bleeding, because everyone has hemophilia, so you will just die slowly if you get that bad cut. The town of Westfall is where your party will rest, upgrade, trade, recruit, and find more missions to go on their merry adventure. Each character has traits that can range from being able to talk good or getting jealous when your friend hits better than you. Unlike Darkest Dungeon, however, you have a hex map to move your mercenaries around, so it has more tactics involved in how you place and move your units. Now, the demo was locked on the easiest difficulty, half of the Westfall wasn't available, and over half of the classes were locked as well. So it's hard to say how much more will be in this game other than combat. It looked like when I was traveling in the overworld, there were a few interactables that I could possibly work with, but won't be revealed until the main game's release. So for what I could interact with, I did enjoy the different classes of characters that did feel in fact unique, and felt that the overall game's UI and tooltips are done pretty well. I think what I felt was missing from the combat was since our attacks can miss, there isn't really a indicator on how accurate your characters are, or how defensive the enemy is. Also, the description did make it sound like there was more of a mystery of Westfall and the choices you get to make. I saw one instance where I had to convince farmers to share their crops, and chose the more aggressive option to see how the game would react. Other than slaughtering some peasants, nothing much. So I hope in the final release we can get more of a story of why Westfall is so mysterious, and how our choices will impact our story. Overall, I thought it was fine. I just wanted more to see to really get me interested. That being said, it's on Kickstarter, so if you're interested in seeing this game flourish, consider checking it out now. Now with Terra Nil, where we decide pollution is whack, and only when the world has reached its absolute worst and finally decide to do something about it. A very interesting take on the city builder genre, where we build devices to help restore soil, plant life, and even the animals back onto the wastelands. These devices have limited range. You have to be very careful where you place them and try to utilize them the best way possible, as you're limited in the resource that creates all these buildings, which you can gain more by growing grass and restoring life, which you're aiming to get the wasteland's ecosystem to a certain point where it should be able to flourish alone once we leave. That's right, I said leave. As we reach the end of the level, we have to pack up all these machines we place and get them out of here. So that way when we leave, we can let nature take its course. It's fine if there are splats of wasteland left, as the Goldblum once said, life, finds a way. Honestly, it was a nice experience where it felt satisfying to restore the planet, then pack it all up. Unlike a lot of city builders in my experience, this seems to have an end goal rather than just keep expanding forever. Your goal is to restore the planet and then you're done. Overall, I did enjoy myself and felt satisfied. The only concern gameplay-wise would be how they will keep it interesting in the levels to come. This is where level design and any other mechanics they plan to add will be very important, as they have a great concept and I'm interested to see how they will develop. Well, that was shorter than expected, huh? Well, I had to plan to cover about 6 games per episode. However, since I came late to the event, few of the games pulled back their demos, which kinda sucked. Overall, I enjoyed this experience, and I hope maybe I brought some attention to some games that pique some of y'all's interests. So if you excuse me, I have to run until my brain's falling out of the back of my head with Cyberhook, the next entry for the Into the Archive series. Until then, enjoy the archive.